The IBM mouse is a device that tells a computer where to place the pointer or cursor on the screen. No special software or operator training is needed. For the sighted person, the eye conveys the message. For the blind person, the finger is the message carrier, receiving its impressions from the tiny pistons which move up and down as the visual cursor moves across the screen. Tom Dolan built a prototype Braille mouse.
The initial reaction by persons that have tried the mouse has been very favorable. They seem to pick up the concept very quickly. It seems to be intuitive, and most persons that have tried it have asked if they could take one home with them.
The Braille mouse was invented by Leon Comerford at IBM's Thomas J. Watson Research Center.
It happened by accident, actually. Good ideas are things that happen to you. I've been working on a piece of software that used a mouse to control it, and I've been thinking about what a mouse could be used for other than the types of things that people had been doing with it before. One day I was riding up in an elevator from the cafeteria, and I saw the Braille characters that they put underneath the buttons on the elevators. The whole idea, came to me in a flash, and as a matter of fact, everybody who saw it wanted to see the thing built. It's easy to find a home for a good idea.
In the end, it's the blind who will best evaluate the Braille mouse. IBM is building a small number of the systems for testing by blind computer users.
Job when he could not read the directions they had given him to find a new house on his route. He had to end up asking for help.
I tell her to print the letters out, and then I can look at the print.
The idea of spending Christmas in the hospital has no appeal for most of us. For children and their parents, it is an especially difficult time. The holiday trimmings are up, the tree on each floor has been decorated by the children, the stockings, each with a name, have been carefully hung. Christmas posters made by these young patients decorate the nurse's station. Yes, everything is in place for the season.
I was wondering, have you ever been here for Christmas?
Dan Christopher is 5. 3 years ago on Christmas Eve, he underwent liver surgery after a horse stepped on it. Since then, he's been admitted 25 times and will be spending his second Christmas here. Marianne Incorvia is a member of the Child Life Development Team working with children like Dan who do not fear so much for their life, but rather something even more important at this time of the year.
Children who are in the hospital have concerns about whether or not Santa will know where they are on Christmas Day. They're away from home. We have to do everything that we can to assure them that Santa will indeed find them even when they're in the hospital, and part of doing that is providing gifts for them when they wake up Christmas morning. All of these gifts are from Santa.
Santa's volunteer elves were busy at work today wrapping the gifts that will be delivered during the night shift Christmas Eve. Bears donated by Birdine's and Channel 13, along with toys from other community-minded businesses and individuals, are matched to each child based on age and need. Lucy Weber heads up the gift program.
Some families are here weeks on end and can't get out to shop, and also sometimes there's financial burdens on families because of medical costs, so that this helps those families.
Many of the children who do not need constant care are being sent home for the holiday, even if it's just for a day or two. Tommy Duckworth won't be as lucky. Actually, for the 3-year-old, this is home. He spent all but 6 months of his life here. Tommy was born with most of his vital organs on the outside of his body. Surgery and care is helping him develop, and chances are good that he'll one day be able to lead a normal life and spend Christmas with his parents at home.
Kind of, yes. I want to thank each and every one of you. I want to wish each and every one of you Merry Christmas.
Cyclonus, I'm spoiling for a fight.
Toy companies are not only putting more commercials on television. For the past few years, they've been producing their own cartoon shows based on toys.
Cartoons are just an avenue to sell the toy, and maybe if they weren't so concerned about selling a toy, the content of the cartoons would be better.
But not all toy companies are making these toy-based cartoons.
We don't think that that's in the best interest in the child. First of all,
Gene Hopkins works for Lego Systems. Lego doesn't believe in making cartoons to promote its own products. But Gene used to work for another large toy company that does produce toy-based cartoons.
I think at times, sometimes you're forced to stretch those codes of ethics depending on how big the toy company has become and what the strain is to make a profit.
Child development expert Dr. Doris Welcher says first, when your kids watch TV, watch with them.
You know, I think a parent should always tell his or her conviction and always share his or her value system. You know, my values are, I don't feel that this is a good toy. I don't, feel that it's good for you, and why.
The Yoders do talk with their kids about toys, but they also feel the toy industry could be doing a better job of making good quality toys.
I'd like to see more commitment among those who design toys to making things of beauty, of something that really challenges their intelligence in a thoughtful way, and yet still makes it fun for them, instead of just trying to sell one more thing.
I'm Jeff McAtee, Pulse 13 News. Child development expert Dr. Doris Welcher says first, when your kids watch TV, watch with them.
You know, I think a parent should always tell his or her conviction and always share his or her value system. You know, my values are, I don't feel that this is a good toy. I don't, feel that it's good for you, and why.
The Yoders do talk with their kids about toys, and they've also gotten them alternative toys, like this Amish marble roller. But they also feel the toy industry could be doing a better job of making good quality toys.
I'd like to see more commitment among those who design toys to making things of beauty, of something that really challenges their intelligence in a thoughtful way, and yet still makes it fun for them, instead of just trying to sell one more thing.
Right now,
Please. Authorities won't say who in the family did the shooting or give a possible motive. Throughout the evening, police remained on the scene. They have cordoned off the house, left everything as it was when the crime occurred until the state medical examiner and crime lab can get here to examine the 7 bodies inside. Debbie Ely, CBS News, Algona, Iowa.
The man accused in the nation's worst family mass murder is now in a state mental hospital in Little Rock, Arkansas. R. Gene Simmons has been transferred from the county jail. Sheriff's deputies say Simmons, suspected of killing 14 of his relatives and 2 other people, has been the target of death threats. He has been charged so far with only 2 of the murders, and prosecutors say they will seek the death penalty if Simmons is found guilty. Former First Lady Betty Ford is said to be doing well in a hospital in California. She had surgery this morning to correct a minor wound problem from an earlier operation. The 69-year-old Mrs. Ford underwent open heart surgery last month. Another new class of drugs to treat high blood pressure has been approved by the FDA. The drug Imprintable is the latest of the so-called ACE inhibitor medications to treat hypertension. ACE inhibitors have significantly less side effects than the traditional treatments. The director of the Space Shuttle launches says it may be a week or more before NASA decides just how long the next flight will be delayed, but Bob Seek is estimating that the delay will only be about 3 months. He says he does not regard as a major setback the failure of a rocket component during a test in Utah. Assembly of the first booster rocket was supposed to have started at Cape Canaveral next week. It is a warning that we've all heard before, but it's one that law enforcement officials say too many people still ignore. Don't drink and drive. In Florida, motorists who get caught can face a fine of 6 months in jail or 6 months in jail and lose their license for 6 months. That's if it's their first offense. It can also prove to be not only a deadly mistake, but a costly one. Drunk drivers sometimes pay up to $4,000 in fines, court costs, and legal fees. A cab ride is much cheaper. A yellow cab company spokesman says the average taxi fare is just $10. Back with more in just a moment.